given to them will be futile. And we are not trained for this. The other thing we look at peace building and tolerance. We cannot talk of development if we don't have that peace, if we don't tolerate one another. So education sector is looking at an individual from that perspective, education from that perspective. How can we make these people peaceful? How can we enshrine into them peaceful moral, peaceful values from day one of their life? This is what we are trying to focus on. We look at population and family life education and environment. We look at how the population is growing. We inform these children from that tender age. What can we do about it? What should be our individual roles and what are going to be our collective roles towards population and family life perspective. Okay. We also look at guidance and counseling. Today you go to many homes, even in our society. What do we see? Parents and other partners are relenting in their efforts because they feel that teachers are there for them. Sometimes we sit in our schools, what do we see? A parent only to come and tell you, Lamin, please discipline this one for me. You see, that's very interesting, but it's also very sad. This is what we know as an education ministry. We want to inculcate discipline through talking to these people, making them understand what is around them through guidance and counseling. We guide them properly and we also counsel them in everyday life perspectives. That is what we are looking at when it comes to guidance and counseling. From there we look at patriotism. If you have, no matter what amount of education you have, if this patriotism is lacking, your contribution towards national development is also always going to be limited. And we are not praying for that. Therefore, we want to build a society wherein people will be so patriotic that they will look at their nation first before the individual. But we cannot talk about this in the abstract. We must inculcate this into the children from day one of their life in the schools. This is what we are trying to target in this policy period. The next thing we also look at is school health and nutrition education. Good nutrition and good habits towards nutrition are key areas that we target and are key areas that we want to learn and we want to educate in the Gambia. Because if we don't, nowadays, what do we see in our society? We see a lot of health issues. And some of these things, we can learn them in the schools. And thank God we have started. Not within the next policy period, but even before that. I'll give you an example. Last year, teachers were able to deworm only through getting the training from the health and other partners. We were able to deworm our children all by ourselves. So these are some of the beliefs, these are some of the attitudes, these are some of the morals. So these are some of the know-hows that we want to inculcate into these children. This is all about life skills education, dealing with morals, attitudes, and belief system of these children.
Okay. And then according to the policy, where are you starting this? Because at what level of education are you going to introduce it right from the beginning? That's from the lower basic level going to upper basic or senior secondary school, or where? Because if you look at this, like it's like to me, it's like a new thing because every other issue that we've spoken about here could be a subject of its own. But then, how is the policy trying to go about achieving this in terms of its introduction into the school system? Are they going to be having kind of a guidance and counseling center where all these morals will be taught, or how is the ministry, or how is the policy, going to deal with that situation?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Maybe you are not full-time with us. You are a partner that is very, very frequent with us. But I would want you to understand that these things are not new with basic and secondary education. We have been going into these things so much. In fact, we are far into this thing. What we are looking at is how can we strengthen all this? What new perspectives can we bring into all these cohorts? And this is why we are out here today to speak to the Gambian society here and any part of the world. They feed so that they also feed us that information to say, yes, you have been doing it this way, but if you we think if you add A, B, and C, it will be of benefit to us as a nation. This is why we are here. But nothing of this, none of this is a new thing. They have been going on. We are just looking at how best we can strengthen these things. And this is why we are here.
Okay, but then, but one thing, I know that, but I agree with you that these are things that have been in the school system for quite a long time,
yes.
like you said. But then the very issues that these things are trying to address, that's the principal cause of it might be kind of indiscipline on the school. And then that one, like you've made mention in your statement, that one is on the increase. Now everybody is talking about indiscipline, particularly in the school system. And then these qualities, these topics, these issues that you've been discussing would be introduced into the school system to tackle that. So if they've been in the school system, then maybe you could be also very right that they've not been effectively utilized, because we're seeing the very immoralities that they're trying to tackle. Those are the very things that are on the increase, that in discipline. And then maybe some people might also be talking about the kind of things that the ministry subscribes to in terms of abolition of corporal punishment and other things. So, well, but then...
Jamal, thank you very much. But let us look at it from this perspective. You see, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to moral, it has to do with human behavior, human mind, and human perception. This cannot be the responsibility of one person or one organization. We need the involvement of every partner. We need the teachers and their entourage. We need the parents. Don't say students are indisciplined. What are you doing towards that? We know that we cannot do it alone. We have partners. Let us come together. It is not a Gambian problem. It's a global issue. But in the Gambia, we are saying, and as an education organization, we are saying to partners, please join us. Please come on board. Let us look at discipline. Because look at it, how many hours are these children spending with us? If the teachers have to do their quota, if the Ministry of Education have to do their quota, the remaining hours of their life, how much is it spent? How is it spent? That means somebody else somewhere must take up the mantle of responsibility and take charge of that area.
Certainly. Maybe a discipline would have to be kind of a divided role between teachers and parents. Particularly parents would definitely have to take the greatest responsibility of that, because most of the hours that students spend, most of the hours of their life normally spent at home. So definitely they would have to take the lion's share of that responsibility of disciplining kids. So we would also want to be talking about the strategies. Now you've spoken about the policy statements about your various areas. Now financing, for example, the DPS. You've talked about the policy statement on financing. So what are some of the strategies that we have also got in place with regards to the achievement of those statements?
Yeah, while talking about the policy, I whether consciously or unconsciously made mention of some strategies in the process. Like for example, if you talk about getting donor support in terms of education financing, we will definitely put in place a very good funding proposal, given that the ministry has built a very good reputation. We will rely on that reputation, and we have a very good project coordinating unit which can come out with a very good funding strategies, proposals rather, and forward it to the donor partners, and then I'm sure we'll be able to market those proposals given the achievements so far the ministry has registered.
Okay, and then I think we'll have to give you all maybe a minute so of this because of time factor. Yes, Daniel, strategies?
Yeah, as far as partnership is concerned, the ministry is opening its doors to all potential